Action.
What I'm preparing for you now is based from my basic crock pot chicken. We're gonna make chicken chili. So what I'm gonna do is take the chicken that we just prepared in our crock pot. Gonna put it on a cutting board, and we're gonna chop it up in smaller pieces. There you go. This chicken we're gonna use to make something very healthy and nutritious, full of vegetables, something you can trick your kids into eating. I know how my kid feels about eating vegetables. He doesn't really like it, but sometimes when I sneak him into ingredients that he does like, it's a winner chicken dinner. And that's what we're gonna have, chicken chili. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna chop up the chicken. But first, before we even do that, let's put some heat under a saute pan. Hot. What we're gonna do is heat up some oil. So we're gonna take some olive oil, maybe eyeball it, maybe 2 tablespoons or so, enough to coat the bottom of your pan. But what we're gonna do with this olive oil is we're gonna saute all our vegetables and our chicken together. So what we have here are, we have celery, bell pepper, minced garlic, diced onion, canned tomatoes. These are your best friend. Don't buy fresh when you can get canned. Way cheaper too. We have fresh cilantro, cumin, chili powder. This is my secret ingredient. This is fajita seasoning. You can find this already mixed up in the spice aisle. Smoked paprika, that's gonna give it a real nice smoky flavor without being hot. My final secret ingredient, which you can find in Latin and Mexican markets, this is called sazon. And it just brings that, what is that flavor to any type of soup or stew that you make. Then we have a cup of chicken broth. Now, instead of buying canned chicken broth, what you can do, they have bouillons, which you add to water. I have some right here. But what you do, they come in a little cube and they're dehydrated, and you add them to water, a cup of water. One of these will yield 2 cups of chicken broth. So this is a good money saver as well. As opposed to buying cans of chicken broth, you can always have it on hand whenever you want if you use these. So what we're gonna do, we have our oil heating up in our pan here. Just gonna swirl it around to make sure everything is coated. Looks like we could add a little more. Remember, we're eyeballing this. It doesn't have to be exact. Nothing's written in stone, and that's the great thing about cooking. You can deviate, you can change it, you can make more, you can make less. Nothing's not correct. So the first thing we're gonna do is add our diced vegetables. So make sure our heat is up enough. You wanna hear that nice sizzle when you add it to the pan. Okay. So first we're gonna add our diced celery. And we got our bell pepper here. That goes to the pan. Onion. Onion is gonna give it a nice sweet flavor, and it's gonna cook down into the sauce, and it's gonna kind of disintegrate, so your kids won't even realize onion is in there, which is good, because a lot of kids are finicky and don't like onion. So it's not gonna give it a very strong onion flavor. Then we're gonna add diced garlic, minced garlic. Another time saver. Garlic. You can buy this already minced up. You don't have to waste time chopping it up. Time saver, it gets it on the table quicker, and that's the whole idea. We don't want to spend hours cooking when we can take minutes to cook right. It's the whole objective. So we're gonna get those going. The next thing we're gonna add our tomatoes. That's gonna give it some nice acidity. Another vegetable, well, you know, some people say tomatoes are fruit. I really don't know the difference, but either way, it's good for you. It's a good way to get something in your kid. other than hamburgers and fries. Next, we're gonna add our chicken broth. We're gonna give this a stir. What you want is all those flavors to come together before you add your spices. Now the trick to good cooking, you have to flavor and season everything. Everything needs to be flavored. That way your ending product doesn't need as much salt. So we're gonna add seasoning to our vegetables. We're gonna add seasoning to everything that we're adding to the pot. That way when it's done, you don't have to add as much salt, and you can feel better about the quality of the food, what you're putting in your body, and what you're feeding your children. Now we're gonna add our seasonings. First, we're gonna add cumin. You're gonna eyeball it. That's about maybe 2 teaspoons, 2 tablespoons maybe. Cumin gives it a nice flavor of chili without the heat. Now we're gonna add my secret ingredient, which is fajita seasoning. Fajita seasoning has a compilation of different spices. You have salt, you have garlic, you have coriander, you have cumin, you have all these things already in it, so it helps to flavor it without adding so much salt. It already has salt in here, so we're gonna watch the salt that we add to the end product. Now we have our smoked paprika. It's gonna give it nice red color, and also another element of smoky flavor that we love in chili. Now, one thing about chicken chili being that it isn't beef, you have to kind of put more into it to give it more body, to make it taste a little more like chili, because we're dealing with white meat. And when you're dealing with the white meat, you have to add more flavor to it to get more flavor out of it. And our last ingredient that we're gonna add here is our chili powder. It's gonna give it that little punch that we need. So you add all those flavors and you mix it together. Now, we're gonna chop up our chicken here that we did in our crock pot, remember? Time saver, money saver. You know, you can go and catch chicken on sale at the grocery store in bulk. You can buy it and freeze it, and then you get an idea like this and prepare it in a crock pot, and look at that, we have 2 different meals that we're gonna make just from 1 chicken. 2 completely different meals that you'll feel good about. Will make you just more eager to try and experiment and see what it is you can come up with. Why have to order takeout or go to McDonald's and do all these other things that at the end of the day end up costing us way more money than we probably would like to spend? How about we use that money and use it and put it into the quality of the ingredients that you get, and make these things at home yourself. It's a good way to bond with your children and your family. Good way to sit at the table in the evenings after work and after school and get caught up and just find out how each other's day went. That's so much, it's so important, and something that we tend to lack. So how about we bring family dinners back to the table by cooking together? So we're gonna add our already cooked chicken. And since our chicken is already cooked, that's a time saver in itself, because you don't have to wait to cook the chicken with the ingredients. You're gonna get this made in half the time, which is great. That'll give you time to maybe sit on the couch and relax, or read a good book, or help the kids with some homework, or maybe you just wanna take a Calgon bath and take you away. You'll have time to do that because you haven't spent all your time in the kitchen, but it'll taste like you did. That's why we love the crock pot. We're gonna add our chicken to the pot, and we're just gonna let this cook. Now, 2 more ingredients we're gonna add. Well, 1 more actually, I'm sorry. We're gonna add our corn. This is gonna give it some texture. You're gonna put that in there with all the other ingredients. That's pretty much it. You're gonna cook it down for about 20 to 25 minutes on medium to medium high heat. And that's pretty much chicken chili.